Excalibur issue 1 heads to Camelot, where Morgan Le Fay calls in Sir Garrus to her side, taking the knight into her chambers, revealing a pool of water in the middle. Morgan says that she wants an answer, telling the knight that she is trying to keep Camelot safe, and while the royal family are indisposed, it falls to her alone. She forces the knight's head into the water, telling him to find answers to what the Krakoan weed growing in her pool is, and why it pollutes Camelot. At Braddock Academy, Betsy Braddock packs her bags, getting ready to leave for Krakoa. Brian tells her that he will look after anything she leaves behind, and as she leaves, Betsy asks Brian to come with her to the mutant party, but Brian says this will do her good, since while her adjustment hasn't been easy, he never thought he would see the Betsy he grew up with again, yet here she is. Reaching the Krakoan Gate, Brian says that he's glad she came home, but he thinks that she is going to thrive in Krakoa. Betsy wishes Jamie could be here to see it, but Brian thinks maybe paradise wouldn't have suited him, but Betsy says that he could have been kept on the straight and narrow in paradise. Betsy says her goodbyes and heads to the island, welcomed by her friends as the party begins. Apocalypse meanwhile meets with Trinary, who has isolated a gate for the mutant. Apocalypse is fascinated by the festivities on the island, since for much of their life they were hunted, but now they are dancing and partying, and it's all because they finally learned to believe. Heading to the Grove of Gates, Apocalypse's personal study, he says to Trinary that despite the tests, no one has been able to go through this particular gate, and they don't even know where it goes or if it's even on this plane of existence or planet. Apocalypse, however, knows where it goes, grabbing a magic crystal and asking if Trinary knows about Camelot. Apocalypse touches the crystal to the gate and it begins to shatter, learning that whomever is on the other side has built a barrier against the gate, and they will need a champion to breach it. In North Yorkshire, Mariana Stern and her coven bring forth the ghost of Sir Garrus. The ghost brings forth a message to the group as they try and banish it, but Morgan Le Fay's ghostly visage arrives, saying that she has taken all of their magic, asking if they know why. Stern tells her that they never meant to cross her, but Morgan says that they have, showing them the gateway and the plant that covers it, demanding the coven tell her why they work against her. Stern reveals that the weed is a mutant species, but Morgan doesn't care, saying that she will destroy the gate, but must focus on protecting Camelot from the White Witch, meaning she is going to conscript Stern and her acolytes. She tasks them with finding the source, and until then, no mortal shall use Avalon's magic. Betsy meanwhile meets with her old friends like Jubilee on the beach while hearing a type of music. Putting it out of her mind, she soon runs into Fabio, who wants her to come to the hatchery with him. Fabio is glad she chose to come with him, since this is about her brother Jamie, whom Betsy finds is alive and well thanks to the Krakoan egg technology. Fabio wants Betsy's help, since Jamie won't listen to anyone and is making a mess in the hatchery. Jamie says that now that Betsy is back to herself, it's like they are a family again, although their parents are still dead, but he doesn't care since he thought them a bore. Betsy isn't happy her brother, who could have started a new life, chose to go and say something as awful as that, merely hours after being brought back. Fabio isn't happy with the mess Jamie made in the hatchery as Betsy grabs her brother, saying that while he thinks this is funny, she and others do not, demanding he clean up the room. Jamie uses his powers to do so, while saying that he won't leave the island since thanks to his human parents and others, he doesn't quite care for humans anymore. Betsy won't lie to Brian about their brother's resurrection, however, but Jamie refuses to see him and says that she shouldn't lie. Betsy tries to force him to see Brian with her powers, but she is stopped by Fabio, who says that the psychic link that she has may damage the eggs. Angered and frustrated, Betsy leaves, running into Apocalypse outside, who tells her, despite her frustration, about the Krakoan Gate opening from the Otherworld, and if they use an object, such as Captain Britain's amulet, they could breach it. Apocalypse says that separating Captain Britain from his amulet would be bad, but Brian can come with them. Back at the Braddock Academy, Brian suits up in his Captain Britain costume as Betsy returns, learning that he has been called to the Otherworld. Betsy says that that is why she is there, since Apocalypse told her to come and tell him that he believes he is being led into a trap. Betsy suits up as well, saying that she is going with her brother, who still can't believe mutants are siding with the likes of Apocalypse and Magneto on the island. Betsy tells him that she doesn't need a party on the islands, since she would be dodging the woman whose life and body she stole, and at least Brian has something worth dying for that isn't his own mistakes. Brian kneels before his sister, saying that if he's truly walking into a trap and she wants to fight with him, there's nothing more more noble. The two teleport to Avalon, where they are immediately captured by Morgan Le Fay and the Coven. She grabs the captain, demanding that since he is protector of the Otherworld and Britain, he must stop this witchweed. Morgan orders Betsy to be taken to the well and made to drown in the weed. On Krakoa, Gambit and Rogue walk down the beach. Gambit talks about setting up a home in a bayou at the center of the island, but Rogue wants to get back to work, thinking about the law of Krakoa about making more mutants. Trinary interrupts them, telling them to come with her, and soon they meet with Apocalypse, who tells them about the portal connected to the Otherworld. He hoped Betsy and Brian would have talked to him before entering the portal recklessly, but they did not. So now there is a magical ward over the gate, and hopefully now Rogue can dampen it with her abilities and allow them to get in and get Betsy. Gambit doesn't like the sound of this or trust Apocalypse and his mission, but Rogue says that they are all on the same team now, and Betsy needs their help. Changing into their costumes, Gambit suggests bringing Jubilee in, since she was talking with Betsy earlier and might know something about what's going on. Later, Jubilee arrives, telling Dellas that while she talked with Betsy, she doesn't really remember what it was about, only that Betsy was acting strangely. She learns Betsy is trapped in the Otherworld now, and that Rogue and Gambit are going to go and get her. Rogue steps up to the gate as Apocalypse wants to probe Jubilee's mind to find the conversation her and Betsy had. As the mutants get to work, Brian and Betsy fight the warlocks of Morgan Le Fay, but the powerful magician takes control of Brian, turning him into her protector, who despite fighting the conditioning, attacks his sister with his amulet in his new black covered armor. Rogue touches the portal as Apocalypse broadcasts his message through, telling Betsy to disrupt the gate somehow. Conjuring her sword, Betsy plunges it into the pool, shattering the gate on the Krakoan end and cutting off the connection to the Otherworld. Rogue is weakened from the power, and as she touches the branch around the portal, it engulfs her, the power in its branches finding a new host in her. Morgan tells Betsy that she has trapped herself in the Otherworld now, and now she will watch Captain Britain kill his sister. Betsy tries to attack Brian but is easily thrown away, but this was all part of her plan as she stole the amulet from Brian, who fights the control just long enough to tell her to put it on and leave. Betsy does so and it teleports her away as Rogue is consumed by the plant and sealed in a stasis-like pod of plants. Gambit becomes angry, attacking Apocalypse, thinking the former villain is behind this somehow. Suddenly Betsy arrives back, now clad in her own Captain Britain costume. She tells the team to stop staring at her, wanting to know what has happened to Rogue. Elsewhere, Mariana Stern sneaks away from her now controlled coven, taking the magical crystals with her as she heads to another secret meeting, using the crystals to buy her way into the coven of Akaba. Excalibur issue 1 was a really cool fantasy spin on the new generation of X-Men books and puts forth an interesting mission for this eclectic team, as well as setting up some old characters' new arcs, notably Betsy Braddock's new role as the new Captain Britain. I think that was a cool approach for the character, who has kind of gone pathless now, having been split from Psylocke in the previous X-Men books, and I'm looking forward to exploring Betsy's life now and how she will make it her own as Captain Britain, which is really exciting, and she has a really cool costume as Captain Britain. Making the book a kind of sword and sorcery epic with mutants thrown in is a really interesting premise for an X-Men book, so I'm looking forward to the team's adventures in Camelot and Otherworlds. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.